Thanks, Rachel. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being out here today as we share some information about our emergency declaration and the evacuation order that the city manager has issued for our unhoused residents along our waterways here. I'm just getting back from doing a walkthrough with the Housing Department's homeless outreach team. I want to thank them for how hard they've been working to make sure that all of our unhoused neighbors along our miles and miles of waterways realize the risk that is that they face with these atmospheric rivers. We're expecting up to 4 atmospheric rivers over the next couple of weeks, and we just want to make sure anybody living along our creeks and rivers understands that there's an evacuation order. We want to see them be at least 150 feet from the water and ideally come to one of our overnight warming locations. During the day, our libraries are open and are also a great place for people to go. So I'm just going to share a little bit of information and then introduce Assistant City Manager Lee Wilcox, Council Member Biandone, who represents District 7, where we are here today, and our Field Operations Deputy Chief Brian Schaub as well. So we at the city are continuing to work with our regional and local partners to deploy outreach teams and notify people of the extreme weather conditions and encourage them to move on and find shelter placements, of which the city has made a number available. We currently have overnight warming locations at Roosevelt Community Center and the West Valley Branch Library. We expanded Roosevelt shelter capacity on Sunday by 30 beds, bringing the total number of beds to 80. Today we've added another 150 at the Seven Trees Community Center, and we're prepared to continue to add additional shelter capacity as weather conditions warrant it and our unhoused residents actually ask us for those placements. We in total have over 2,059 shelter beds in the city, 1,500 of which are emergency beds operated by nonprofits. That's a good note. I want to thank our nonprofit partners, including Destination Home, Home First, and Path in particular, who have had their teams out doing outreach once again, making sure that our unhoused residents are aware of both the risks and their options for coming inside. Really important that we get people away from our waterways, as the water could rise fairly quickly. Want to also just share that spaces in our overnight warming locations are offered by referral only. We would ask members of the public, particularly our unhoused community, to call 408-539-2105 or email owlreferrals@homefirstSCC.org to be referred to an indoor overnight warming location. And then, of course, the city website is full of information about tips for staying safe, where you can get free sandbags. We don't anticipate, and I'm going to let the Assistant City Manager speak to this, we don't anticipate widespread flooding. What we're really worried about right now is just the waterways and our unhoused residents who are near the creeks and rivers where there is a serious risk. So with that, thank you all again for being here at the end. I'll say a few things in Spanish. But I want to turn it over to, in fact, first I'll go to Councilmember Biandone to say a few words. He represents District 7, where we are here today doing outreach. So, Councilmember Biandone, come on up.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good morning. Thank you for being out here. It's a unprecedented declaration. We know that we have a large storm coming. I was here in 2017 as a fire captain dealing with the flood right here at Rock Spring, and I know how difficult it is to be out there needing the help that we weren't prepared for, but we are now. My office have worked with the mayor office and the emergency management team to make sure that we take care of our residents and our unhoused residents. Today I'm glad to announce that we are opening up the Tully Library with up to 150 beds for our unhoused residents. And I ask that our resident to be prepared. Don't drive if you don't have to. If you need help, please reach out to my office or any other city council office and 311, or if you need 911. I want to make sure that you know that we've learned our lesson from 2017. We, as a city, we are ready and prepared for this storm. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Councilmember. So it's Councilmember Biondone, who represents District 7. And just for clarity, it's 150 beds we've just added at the Seven Trees Community Center. Thank you for noting that, and we are prepared to keep expanding those, as I mentioned. Okay, next up we have Assistant City Manager Lee Wilcox.
Thanks, Mayor. Good morning, everyone. For this event, our top priority is to save lives during these significant atmospheric rivers. That's why City Manager Jennifer McGuire did proclaim a local emergency and evacuation order. Want to be clear, the proclamation provides us the emergency powers needed to respond to the storm events, including, and most importantly, to ensure evacuations and the safety of our unhoused community and waterways in San Jose. And as the mayor mentioned, that is our primary focus at this point in time, given the forecast and the rain event is provided to us by the National Weather Service and Valley Water. Our primary focus is supporting and protecting the lives of our unhoused community and our waterways. This has started with outreach over the past several days to our unhoused community, as well as ramping up efforts last night with volunteers, as well as the use of long-range acoustical devices with the San Jose Police Department to let folks know that they should exit the waterways as the storm is approaching. The proclamation also allows us as a city to reassign personnel to help with outreach that has happened this morning, as well as request any emergency assistance or mutual aid if necessary from other local jurisdictions. And with that, I'll hand it back over to the mayor.
Thank you, Lee, Assistant City Manager. Next up, we have Field Operations Deputy Chief Brian Schaub.
Good morning, everybody. Brian Schaub with the Bureau of Field Operations. I'd like to briefly talk about the police department's role as it relates to the larger coordinated response by the city with regard to this weather event. The police department's role in this event is right now, as it stands, limited to the messaging of and the assistance of the evacuations from the emergency proclamation order that was released yesterday. That evacuation is narrowly focused right now, as the mayor mentioned, within our waterways within the city, where we're trying to assist our unhoused community and getting them out of danger in those areas. Those efforts began yesterday afternoon, continued into the evening, and then resumed again this morning and are ongoing as we speak. That work is being done by our patrol folks as well as our special operations divisions, and they're using lots of resources that we have available to us, whether it be all-terrain vehicles, as the Assistant City Manager mentioned, our LRAD devices. We're also using our aircraft, as well as we have a rescue vehicle that has the capability of fording into several feet of water on standby in case that is needed as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deputy Chief.